Nakai Montgomery on the right, JT Giles Harris on the left. We are just seconds away from getting underway here. You just saw North Carolina take care of business in their open. For Duke, playing a team out of the Southern Conference, as we saw early last year against High Point, not exactly an automatic win, and this Air Force team will come to play. And we're underway here at Koskinen. Joe Stein for the Blue Devils taking on Dylan Frankhauser, the freshman for Air Force. Keep an eye on what's going on inside that X, because that's going to be a big battle. Jordan Ginder, my apologies, Ginder taking the opening faceoff for Duke. And Duke gets possession. Kostanowski will work his substitutions now. Nakai Montgomery with the ball in his cross, number 15. Over to Garrett Ledman. Just a hoss at 6'4", 220 pounds.
Minus 10 pounds of fat.
That's
plus
scary.
about 10 pounds of muscle.
Well, that'll help him get some wheels, and he does. Wide of the target, Duke will keep possession. You can almost see that lost weight right there, just allowing him that speed to get that extra step.
He jumped out at me yesterday at practice. Him and Cam Bador, who you'll see run midfield for Duke, two of the most improved players.
Coming upfield, goaltender makes a stop. That's Braden Host, one of the captains of this Air Force team. Coach Wilson said a rarity for Air Force to have a junior captain. He's been that good. He gets hammered. Got hammered. Kevin Quigley coming down and laying the boom on Host. Here's Manown. Spins, shoots, scores. Joey Manown, who had 25 goals last year, with his 101st career point.
Kevin Quigley riding. Boom! Balls on the carpet. And then Manown picks up the trash, little fake. Whoop! Inside roll. And we're off. Duke riding. John Danowski told me yesterday, with the new rules last year, they did the analytics and they said, we're going to ride harder this year. We're going to press. We're going to try to create turnovers. Quigley comes up with the TO off the, the goalie there, Chris, has got to roll away from pressure. You're hoping to hear help from your teammates. Hey, man on, watch out. But you've got to roll towards the butt end of your stick if you're a young player.
Jordan Ginder at the X for Duke. We'll see Stein and Ginder. Ginder's a sophomore. Stein, the junior. Ginder took the opening draw, and he'll take this one as well. Frankhauser, the freshman, battling him. And Duke will gain possession. Ginder now, taking the ball into the box. Try to quickly get it to Carpenter. Loose ball, and it's going to go. It's going to stay with Duke.
Carpenter, the fifth-year senior, 23 in white. You see him with the old-school blue arm pads. That's how you can spot him. He's always adjusting those arm pads. They're like from the 1970s.
All stretched out. Manown again trying to go upfield, testing that defense. This is an Air Force defense that is mammoth, to say the least. You were looking at them at practice the other day.
Really good. Number one in the country last year in terms of goals against average, giving up only 8 goals per game. Braden Host, sensational junior out of Colorado, 51%. And then the size of Devaney, Carlisle, and Peen, 6'2", 6'4", 6'5".
Owen Caputo, and a goal for the Blue Devils.
Number 23, C.J. Carpenter scores for Duke.
Carpenter buries this after getting the assist from Owen Caputo.
Caputo, the sophomore, little wing dodge. Carpenter feels the corner out there. You take as much as the defense will give you, and when you don't respect him, Carpenter able to get enough leverage and find the net for his first goal of his 5th year. He worked at the Washington Duke Hotel Golf Course during the fall. He was not enrolled in school here, but put up 21 goals last year. Kind of a revelation late in the year.
Was able to work out with the team in the fall while doing his best Carl Spangler imitation, working the golf course. Joe Stein wins that draw for Duke, and that's a big battle we're going to have to keep an eye on today at that faceoff X, and Duke so far 3-0 on the draws.
you mentioned Ginder and Stein. Brian Smith, who has the ball right here, 26 in white, was their face-off man last year. He's going to be used in a wing role this year and an offensive midfield role. So I think Duke will be strong on wings of face-offs.
JP Basile bringing it up field with the skip pass. Riley Walsh in that midfield spot. We'll see a lot. We've already seen a lot of players playing. Manown couldn't get the shot to go, but he'll stay with Duke.
Duke will go 9 deep at the midfield today.
They're going to a lot of players we're going to see, and we've already seen some attack substitutions too with Basile. Shot and a goal! That's Riley Walsh, who played a lot of attack last year. One of those midfielders giving Duke the 3-0 advantage.
Riley Walsh.
Walsh, now a junior, played a ton as a freshman. 8-8 last year, 8 goals, 8 assists. He's always been mature, handles the pressure moments well. Talked about Duke playing 9 offensive midfielders today, where they're a little shorthanded though, Chris. Joe Robertson, their leading point producer from last year, knee injury, his future with the team's in question because of that severity of a knee issue.
Yeah, we asked Coach
not going to play today.
How long he'll be out, short-term or long-term, and Danowski was clear that it was going to be a long-term comeback from that injury. So Robertson not in the game, and it'll give us an opportunity to see some other attackmen. JP Basile was in on that last possession, and Dyson Williams, the freshman that everyone's looking forward to seeing, who played his high school across at Hill Academy. We'll get to see him today, number 57 for Duke. Now Air Force with their first offensive possession of the day. We'll get a chance to see what the Falcons can do if they can cut into this 3-goal deficit. August Johnson with the ball in his cross.
This is their best player right here, 20 in blue, Trey Lervick.
Here's Johnson with the left, thought about it, thought better of it, back to Lervick.
Lervick's a senior from Minnesota. He could play for any team in the country, put up 36 goals last year. He'll swing between attack and midfield. Probably most of the time he'll spend today is at midfield.
Here's Johnson. Matthew Schwartz. He turns the ball over. Here come the Blue Devils. Terry Lindsay, just a stalwart on that rope unit. Carries into the offensive end.
Carpenter, 33 in white, with the caused turnover.
There's C.J. Carpenter. Back to Manown.
It's Dyson Williams right here, 51, the lefty from Canada. Second-ranked recruit in the nation. And a starter right from the start with Joe Robertson injured.
Garrett Ledman setting things up for the Blue Devils. Ledman fires right into the cross of Braden Host. Air Force will look to counter.
Air Force has beaten Duke twice in the last decade. It's a Duke team, they've been known to stumble early in the season. Losing last year to what, High Point out of the
Lost to
SoCon?
High Point last year. Another turnover here. Giles Harris keeping it. No, he does not. Just tried side roping that sideline and just wasn't able to keep his footing. It'll go back to Air Force.
To watch both of these teams practice. I mean, the Super Bowl's tomorrow. It is so early. What you're going to see today is real basic lacrosse as you look at the series history. Both of these teams still installing offenses and defense, still teaching their basic rules in terms of freshmen. When do we double team? When do we slide? When you know, how do we operate? Still very much at the building block stage.
Johnny Orlando going to his left. He'll take a bouncing shot. Pushed away nicely by Upgren. Big scrum for the ball. Goal line extended. Everybody involved. Finally coming out with it is Duke. And that's Jake Caputo, you talk about a highly ranked freshman. Another one of the Caputos now playing for Duke. He'll get some time on that rope unit today. Watch out here, Sean Lowry quickly. Carpenter couldn't quite handle the pass, but Duke retains possession.
Lowry coming back as a graduate student. 9 in white. A lot of experience. Some big goals on his resume.
Here's Owen Caputo. Jake's older brother. Carpenter down low, and he scores.
Blue Devil goal scored by number 23, C.J. Carpenter.
C.J. Carpenter puts Duke up 4-0. Manown, sweet spin move. Put him on the board early. Physical play as well, leading the Blue Devils to an early 4-0 lead. In his 14th season here at Duke, taking on a former protege of his, Bill Wilson, who's the head coach of this Air Force team, and you learned something about almost family ties between these two coaches before the game.
Yeah, Billy lived in Danowski's basement while he was an assistant at Hofstra. On the left, you see the keys. That's for season opener. That could be for us. It could be for a business, but we're going to apply it to these athletes today as they open their season. Establishing a routine, understanding that you've got to give into the structure that the coaches have input. If you don't, you don't get to play. So give into the structure, but then become a playmaker in the gray areas. You got to pick your spots. Both of these coaches have a sense of discipline and structure. That's why they're successful. And then celebrate your hard work. You worked all off season for this. Think about the lifting, the running, the extra shooting you've done. Today's a great celebration for that work.
Practicing cold weather in the winter.
Exactly. And then lastly would be help the freshmen. Help the new guys. Whether that's a producer or a second-team midfielder.
Ginder winning the face-off. Duke with another possession, but now coming upfield. Skip pass. Big shot. Bouncer goes wide of the cage. That was Brian Smith, former Fogo, who's now really two-way midfielder for this Duke team. You'll see him on the offensive end and defensive end.
Talk about an upgrade.
Yeah, obviously he's been working on his offensive game here in the offseason. Coach Danowski figured he's going to put him in the mix. Big shot at a goal. Riley Walsh, number 2 on the day. You said it before. He had 8 goals last year. He's got 2 already in 2020.
This is a terrific team offense. And it's great to see so early in the season. The February 1st, Basile, far side, draws 2, spins it through X. Ball kicks, it's ball reversal through Manown. And, my one question mark about Duke this season will be, can this attack you from behind the net? Do they have ball handlers behind the goal? Yeah, I love their midfield. But that's great to see. Basile draws the double, they spin it through X, and Walsh with his second.
Brian Lynch now trying his luck at this face-off X for Air Force, as the Falcons haven't had a whole lot of success. 0 success, as a matter of fact, early on in this game. And Jordan Ginder will take the draw for Duke. Ginder wins it cleanly to himself. Throughout the first half of this first quarter, this field has been tilted toward your left. Duke's offensive field. Air Force has really only had a couple opportunities, Q, and they turned the ball over both times. Kevin Quigley putting the ball in play for John Danowski's squad.
Experienced player. 19 goals as a freshman. Now a senior out of New Jersey.
Beats his man. Opts to roll back. Here's Montgomery. Over to Ledman. Looking to dodge on the shorty. Gets his left hand free, just wide.
He looks like a different guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he's got that name, Ledman. Every time I hear it, I think he's the troublemaker, don't you? When you think about somebody would say, who's responsible for this? Ledman. Kind of like Newman on Seinfeld. Don't you think that name? I love it.
DeMatha.
Ledman.
Most points in DeMatha history. High school football, 4-year starter. Actually, was an Under Armour model at age 10 as well.
In mid-season form.
Last year's boards come in handy.
Duke turns it over. See if Air Force can take advantage now. Just to get a good possession on the offensive end. Something we haven't seen from the Falcons.
80-second shot clock. You got 20 to clear.
Falcons do just that. Now they'll set up offensively. Ethan Grandolfo, number 40, one of these freshmen that is playing this attack line for Wilson. Grandolfo and Brandon Dodd, 45 is the other one with the ball in his cross.
Dodd's a moose. The ball right here, 45, far side of the field. 6'3" freshman from Logan, Utah.
Off the helmet of a Duke player, it'll stay with Air Force. 40 to shoot. Turner Upgren in net for Duke. Got the impression talking to Danowski that, the veteran who started all last year for Duke, is the best guy, but it's not a lock that he's going to be their top goaltender throughout the year.
18 starts last season. The lefty is now a graduate student.
Gives up one here. Air Force is on the board with Quincy Peen.
From the high end zone, you see Duke's pressing out all over the field. They're in tight man-to-man. And anytime that happens, it's a good time to pull the string and cut back door. Excellent pass, and you see the celebration. Thankfully, Air Force is on the board. The question for them, Chris, as you mentioned, it's just going to be the amount of possessions. Getting killed in the face-off game.
Yeah, getting killed in the face-off game, and you got to make the most of those possessions, and they were able to that time around. But here, once again, this time is Joe Stein winning it for Duke. Can he create instant offense? He does! That gets the bench going, too.
Joe Stein, number 65, scores for Duke. Don't forget.
Watching practice yesterday, I turned to the manager, Manny Meltzer, and I said, that kid Stein, he doesn't shoot like a Fogo. But one thing, if you're Air Force, like in basketball, you got to make a decision on that fast break. You got to either stop the ball or at least show to that man to make him a little uncomfortable. They rolled out the red carpet for Joe Stein.
And just like that, Duke gets that goal back. It's 6-1.
It's okay to let the Fogo shoot there, but try to confuse him a little. Get a stick in his face. Go halfway and then back off.
Ginder to take this draw, and it's collected by the Falcons. Gandolfo.
That was nice wing play.
Checheka with the nice play for Air Force.
Duke's always had, historically, terrific wing play on faceoffs. Big, fast, strong guys who hold your stick. They'll box you out. They beat you to the loose ball.
Here's Peen, who just scored for the Falcons. He'll try it again. And Upgren deflects it up over the net. Fresh shot clock for the Falcons. 4 minutes left to go in this first quarter. Grandolfo, the freshman, trying to attack from behind the cage to the other one, Dodd. These two freshmen attacking behind the back pass, and a goal. Peen scores, but what a special play by Brandon Dodd. He's assisted on both of these Air Force goals, and that was a thing of beauty.
Sports Center top 10. The freshman Dodd from Logan, Utah. Okay, that's the home of Utah State. It's farm country up there. A lot of dairy farms, but this kid set all sorts of Utah State records after a year at the prep school. Here he is starting in his first game. Behind the back feed on the money. Oh, baby. Brandon Dodd, welcome to Division I Lacrosse.
What a debut.
Excellent high school football player. He played tight end. He had a major growth spurt in like 9th grade after starting lacrosse as a 4th grader, and he moved from D to attack. And his assistant coach here is John Grant Jr., and you're going to see development from Brandon Dodd. You're going to see John Grant Jr. try to create him in his image, in his shadow. They're similarly built players.
Yeah, Coach Wilson said that both of these young attackmen, Grandolfo and Dodd, have certainly helped this team be able to initiate a little bit more from beyond the cage, from behind the cage, which is something that they lacked last year. And John Grant Jr., a big part of that.
That's a guy in his first game throwing that feed in the first quarter.
Sean Lowry looking to set things up now for Duke. Cameron Bedour, one of these big midfielders that the Blue Devils will throw out there. They'll throw them at you in waves. Lowry now behind the cage. Manown looking to pass up top. Couldn't connect initially. Now the freshman is in trouble. Williams just throws it up over his teammate's head, and it'll be a turnover.
Griffin Peen, excellent check on the interior, and then he runs his man down. Team captain, as voted on by the players at Air Force, and leader from Jersey. He's heading into acquisition, so not all these guys are going to be pilots.
Deflection into the cross of Grandolfo. Some of them I saw, at least 1 or 2 of them are going to join the Space Force upon graduation from Air Force.
Single invert now for Air Force.
Payne, who has both goals for this Air Force team. We're going to talk a lot about brothers. Obviously the Caputo brothers for Duke, Payne brothers. They have 3 of them playing for the Air Force Academy. Inside, great feed and a goal! Kraus with the goal for Air Force.
This is a gorgeous 3-man play. Left-handed alley dodge to wing. You've got 2 Air Force players on the inside. They separate. And Kraus, sophomore out of Boys Latin in Maryland, is left all alone. So starts with August Johnson up top. The dodge draws the eyes and the double team. Kicks to the wing, and the recovery from Duke is not on point. Great team offense.
Brandon Dodd with the assist again on that goal. He's been a real starter offensively for this team. The freshman with all 3 assists. The Air Force makes some hay at this X here to restart play, and they gain possession. They've got their bench and their crowd that's made the trip here fired up.
Amazing how your offensive energy carries over to the next faceoff. You just play with more spirit from the wings. Guys anticipate freely, kind of have that 6th sense is where the ball's going to be kicked. Your bench is enthused. There's more motion, emotion. They're alive now.
It's 4-0, 5-1 Duke advantage. Air Force has scratched their way back now to within 3 goals here late in the going in the first quarter. 40 seconds to shoot for the Falcons. Grandolfo. Now behind the cage.
Duke's defense. Yeah, Duke's defense returning only 1 starter down low, JT Giles Harris. Frank Marinello.
Peen, big fella, just bangs his way through that defense, but loses the ball. Now we'll get a call. And a push. It's going to go against Duke.
That's a reset. You get a full 80 here now with about 50 to go in the quarter.
Air Force and Coach Wilson will call a timeout, talk things over here in the waning seconds of this first quarter. Kind of interesting for this Air Force team. Long trip for them. And they took an Air Force plane to get here from Colorado Springs, so it made the trip a little bit easier just in terms of all the logistics and whatnot. But coming across the country, Q, it's never easy for this team. They got the travel miles for a lacrosse season for Air Force. Even when they get into SoCon play, is tremendous. So to be able to come here and kind of weather the storm initially and to be in this game after one, I think says a lot about Coach Wilson, the way he's prepared this team.
As Billy Wilson, West Genesee graduate, played for Dave Cottle at Loyola College. Assistant coach for John Danowski, as we said, lived in his basement at Hofstra. Before becoming the head coach, Billy Wilson was at Dartmouth. And his record at Dartmouth was 40 and 44. And I know it's below 500, but you look at what Dartmouth's done since Billy Wilson.
Right.
Not much.
It ain't
That was
40
actually
and 44.
That was actually pretty good.
Coach Danowski.
There's the king.
14th season here at Duke. His son Matt on his staff.
Most wins. Nearly 20 years at Hofstra before coming to Duke. What was that, 14 years ago? Hard to believe.
Won 3 national titles here at Duke.
Spent a lot of time with him yesterday at practice. He seemed very comfortable. He's able to coach the individuals while his staff, Matt Danowski, runs the offense with Ned Crotty. There's his son, Matt. Coach Ronnie Caputo runs the defense. They've got a wonderful support staff in terms of diet, strength and conditioning, mental health, the whole deal here at Duke.
Video, everything is, they leave nothing to chance.
Impressive operation.
Big family affair. You talk about the Danowskis, Caputo, Ron Caputo with his 2 boys, Owen and freshman Jake on this team.
Be amazed how much teaching and fundamentals goes on at practice. So even at the Division I level, where kids come out of high school, they think they're hot stuff. The reality is they know very little. And what I saw at practice yesterday was real basic lacrosse fundamentals. You don't get great like a program like Duke without full execution of those fundamentals under pressure.
August Johnson here going against JT Giles Harris.
See him pressing out.
Great matchup to keep an eye on there. Here's Dodd in his first game at Air Force, fresh from the high school ranks. Now keep in mind, he played a year at the prep school, Air Force prep school, so he's a little bit bigger and more physically mature, number 45.
Covered by...
We'll get a call on this pick behind the cage.
Should be a moving pick.
Looks like it will be.
Kenny Brower, the lefty defender, the freshman from Duke, number 3 rated recruit in the country, ran into the Air Force player. The question is, was that Air Force player pushed by a Duke player?
Brent Dolphin with a broken stick running off the field. Let's take a
right
look.
Side of your screen. I mean, that just looks like the most obvious moving pick I've ever seen, but the call appears to be going against Duke.
Yeah, it looked like originally Duke had picked up the ball. They wanted to get started quickly, and that's what they thought the call was going to end up being, but the officials got together to discuss it.
1 minute on Brower for running into a moving pick.
And Kenny Brower's going to spend some time in the box. He's shrugging his shoulder. He doesn't understand it.
I know it's February 1st and the Super Bowl is tomorrow, but that's a bizarre call, Chris. Brower, lefty from Massapequa, Long Island, potentially the best freshman defender in his class.
Air Force going to let the clock run out here at the end of the first quarter, so they'll have a man-up situation to start the second with a little bit of momentum. 6-3 after 1 quarter of play here at Koskinen. The Blue Devils, impressive early, out to the big lead. And then Air Force climbing back to make it a game, and they'll start the second quarter with possession and a man up. 6-3, Duke on top after 1. Back at Koskinen, 6-3, Duke on top as we head to the second quarter. Kenny Brower, Duke's freshman close defender, going to be spending a little bit of time in the penalty box here. He had a minute penalty called against him for plowing through a pick at the end of that first quarter. So Air Force will start this second quarter with possession and man up for about 45 seconds. Initially losing possession, that was August Johnson. Dodd, the sensational freshman 45, is off to a great start with the Falcons. Back up top, that's Christian Kuhn. Errant pass, and that might just about do it for this man-up situation for Air Force. Not a single shot on goal, so a wasted opportunity here on the road for the Falcons early.
Lengthy Walker Scaglione, 44 in white. He's about 6'6", covers, so much real estate. He and Rains Schamberger, 17 in white, team up to clog up the passing lanes. My all-name team, Rains Schamberger.
Love Rains Schamberger. His dad, Bucky Schamberger, was a running back at my alma mater back in the 70s. Back when they used to run the wishbone on the flats at Georgia Tech. Duke killing off the remainder of that penalty to Brower, now full strength. Brian Smith, former Fogo, now playing a two-way midfielder spot. This Duke team trying to spin his way to some open territory. Now back to his left, behind the cage, and out. He'll take a shot. And just wide, Duke retains.
Joey Manow now has surpassed 100 points for his career. He's had some big goals, greasy goals around the net. He likes to dive and get dirty. He takes a beating.
Under 10 to shoot for the Blue Devils. With 2 seconds left, they turn it over on the shot clock, that is. So Air Force taking back over. A little sloppy play. You would expect that early in the season, don't you, though, Q? Especially when we start on February 1st.
Yeah, I don't mind that turnover because it was so late in the shot clock.
Right.
But these guys have been practicing now for 3 or 4 weeks, second semester.
Air Force having a tough time on the clear. They have just 2 seconds to get it over the line, and they do, but it's going to be a turnover in desperation.
It's a shot.
They did. They gave him a shot on that.
Shot.
So Air Force retains possession, and they'll look to strike quickly. And they do! Brendan Krause, goal number 2 on the day with a rocket.
Brendan Krause.
Duke rides, and so that's a shot. Goes out of bounds. Air Force closest to it when it goes out. You get a quick restart here, and Duke's defense is all spread out. Krause, the trailer, catch it, rip it, and rip it. This is a young guy who's a great high school quarterback. He has always shown flashes. He's a sophomore. Good-looking kid. Watched him at practice yesterday. Really strong legs, a sturdy base. And I like the way Air Force plays fast, kind of transitional lacrosse, where suddenly it's our ball. Let's not settle and wait for Duke to get set. Let's attack while they're vulnerable.
And now with another win off the face-off X, Brian Mitchell, even though in reality Jordan Kinder won that duo between he and Mitchell. Ball ends up with Air Force, so yet another opportunity to dig further into this disadvantage. It's now down to 2.
Talking earlier, this is a new Duke defense in that Scaglione big 44. He bumps up to play midfield D. You got Marinello down below with Brower and JT Giles Harris. You got some new shorties as well. Lindsay 11 is the vet of that group. They're losing John Prendergast a year ago.
Krause going to work his way upfield. That's Grandolfo, scored 3 goals in their scrimmage against Notre Dame, the freshman. Air Force taking their time, working their offense, down to 20 to shoot. Krause couldn't handle the pass. And it'll be Duke ball.
Yeah, good play. Smart play by Brower, 43 in white. It's going to be a star.
4th turnover for Air Force. Duke will look to strike quickly. Montgomery, haven't said his name a whole lot yet today. Back up top to Quigley. Ledman. Working on a much smaller shorty. Look at the size differential there in that bat. Matt O'Rourke on him for Air Force. Ledman gets free, dives, he scores, but we got a flag on the play. Let's wait till we get the official ruling. The official's talking about it, and they're going to wave it off. So we have no goal. We got a push here, but it looks like we got a player in the crease as well, Q.
Ledman gets inside position. Pushed, lands in the goal mouth. You see that inner 6-foot radius, that blue line there. That's new to college lacrosse this season. So technical foul, push with possession against Air Force, wiping off the goal. They said that basically Ledman was able to regain control and then launch himself, landing into the goal mouth.
Penalty has been called on Air Force. Number 56, Griffin.
So that's going to be a 30-second push.
No goal, but man-up opportunity for Duke.
Griffin Peen.
First man-up chance for John Danowski in this squad today.
This unit will be better than it was last year. They were atrocious last year.
Opportunity wide and high. Dyson Williams, the freshman. There's Williams, 51. Try to pass it down low. Nice job defensively to snag that one right out of the air.
Got a bunch of lefties on that group. Slick handling lefties.
Air Force down 2. Randolfo over to Dodd. Here's Matthew Schwartz now putting it into play for Air Force.
Schwartz is a senior who's been very, very productive, playing in his 45th game. Just consistent double-digit goals and assists almost every year of his career.
Lervik showcased him at the top of the show, Q.
Flashy lefty. Okay, let's see if he can set up his left hand.
Going up against the shorty here behind the cage. Finds Matheson. Thought it had a notion, but thought better of it. Under 10 to shoot. Lefty handled easily that time by Upgrade. Here comes Duke. Head up, shot by Carpenter. Just misses the mark.
Bad shots are turnovers. Bad shots lead to runouts from your opponent. You're better off rolling the ball in the corner, retreating and playing 6-on-6.
Air Force calling a timeout here. 8:49 left to go in this second quarter. Duke with a 2-goal advantage. Air Force, though, battling their way back to make this a game here about midway through this second quarter. Don't go anywhere. Teams of the decade, hard to argue with Duke as far as what John Danowski was able to do here in the last 10 years.
It was a storybook ending in 2010. C.J. Costabile finding net. And then in 13, Jordan Wolf, unstoppable from the end line. Was anyone faster than Jordan Wolf? They win it over Cuse after a slow start. And then Wolf again. Back-to-back championships. They won 3 titles in the decade, and they are the team of the decade.
10 semifinal appearances. That's unbelievable. And the job he did when he came over here, Q, from Hofstra, just to turn this program back around and turn them back into a national power, and he's done just that. Going through a little bit of a cold string right now, though, in this game. 3 shots and no goals in the last 11 minutes of game time. So Air Force has scored 3 straight to make this a game. Quick pass inside. Great tic-tac-toe passing. And finished up by Owen Caputo.
Medora picks up the assist, 5 and white. Owen Caputo now, who has 2 assists and 1 goal in this ballgame, has raised the level of his game. He was an offensive afterthought last season. His man is staring at the ball He sees, when you see the name on the back of the jersey or the back of the helmet of the defender covering you,
Ladies and gentlemen,
when his eyes are not on a swivel, it's a good time to cut.
And first career
And that was
assist
a
for
well-timed
Mr. Caputo and Badula.
well-timed cut to the inside. Stops a drought for Duke, which was almost 12 minutes.
Yeah, almost 12 minutes of game time, and Owen Caputo, his first career goal. Sophomore from Apex, North Carolina, puts Duke back up by 3. Air Force has been much better since the opening minutes on faceoffs, and they gained possession once again. Now it's free. Quick opportunity for Duke. Couldn't quite make the pass. Was Manown looking for the cutter, just a little bit too high.
Manown's good in those type of helter-skelter moments.
Now Coach Wilson in Air Force will look to slow things down a little bit. Randolfo up top. Jake Thornley getting some time in that midfield spot for this Falcon team. Johnny Orlando. Sounds like a Vegas lounge act. Johnny Orlando. Lundgren up to the task. JT Giles Harris now will look to clear.
It's a good decision by JT. Turn back, he got help. They reverse fields and they're out. Well done. Danowski likes it, clapping on the sideline. Good lacrosse.
Yeah, he told us those are some of the things that worries him more. The clearing, the riding early on in the season. You talked about it in your keys. Just go back to the practicing, the fundamentals. Now, quickly scores.
Host can't believe it. Sliver of an angle.
Number 31, Joey Manown. That's number 2 on the day.
He's one of the known quantities of the Duke offense. Joey Manown turning the corner left-handed. With Robertson out of the lineup, he's going to be more of an offensive leader. You know, yesterday after practice, he's the guy talking to the local media. He's the most experienced of their offensive players. Senior. Scored some big goals last year, game winner against Denver. Rhode Island product.
Second of the day for Manown. Coming off a year where he had 25 goals last year.
Where's that 31 of Jordan Wolf, which carries a lot of weight around this program?
Falcons have won 4 of the last 5 draws. Since they inserted Brian Mitchell in there, he's held his own against Ginder. Ginder's going to win this one, though. Here's Smith. They left Smith on the wings during faceoffs. Guy was taking all the draws last year. Now he's just working at scooping up ground balls. Manown again. Still has Ginder on the field. Now the substitutions come for the Blue Devils. Carpenter awaits. Montgomery and Ledman, along with Quigley in that midfield unit. Double comes. Ball deflected out of bounds as Carpenter tried to find the cutter. Now Manown, full head of steam. Up top, Montgomery trying to get the deflection. He'll run it down. And a high pass turns it back over to Air Force. Unforced error by Montgomery.
That's February right there.
Stick goes flying. Waiting for yard sale, didn't hear any of it. Let's continue.
It's not my gig, man.
Good. Oh, I love it. Lacrosse terminology that we don't use during football and basketball season. Hey, it's first game for us too.
How about walking in today? Our fan goes, hey, there goes Paul Carcaterra.
Yeah, now I got to figure out whether that's a compliment to you or an insult. Peen scores. That's every trick for
about you. Flag down late.
Peen scores. That's a hat trick for number 4, Quincy Peen.
There's some parts to this Air Force offense that give you some confidence. Peen's really good without the ball. He's made 2 or 3 cuts today to avail himself in the middle of the field. He's got a good sense of using space, how to catch. Scaglione's all over his back. Goal counts, flag is down. But 3 for Peen today. This Air Force team last year, they lost in the semifinals of the SoCon to Richmond 7-6 in a defensive game. They had beaten Richmond earlier on in the season, and they come up short. It's a SoCon league. I think nationally it's agreed upon. It's probably the most improved conference over the last 2 or 3 seasons.
No gimmies. I mean, you look at High Point beating Duke last year, Richmond, what they've been able to do in the postseason last couple of years, a tough out early on. Albany 2 years ago, last year.
12-11 right here against Duke.
Jacksonville gave Ohio State a run last year.
Improving dramatically. It's those 4. I think there's a drop-off in the bottom portion of the conference, but certainly those 4 will contend.
And it's a Duke team who has to play High Point. They're at High Point next. Then they play Richmond later on as well, so they're playing the top part of that SoCon conference here early in their non-conference slate.
That Friday night game against Richmond is an ACC network game later on in February, and you'll get to see High Point, Virginia on a Tuesday on ESPNU later this month as well.
Stud Asher Nolting at that attack line for High Point. Space, what a move. Ball doesn't quite get to the net, though. Deflected off an Air Force defender. And now the Falcons have possession.
That was an excellent change of direction by Quigley. 12 and white, pulling it from right to left.
8 seconds to clear for Air Force. Successfully to Peen. Now he has a full head of steam. Peen takes a shot. Backed up by Dodd. It'll remain with the Falcons.
Dodd, a great example of Lacrosse's growth. Logan, Utah. I was at Logan this year for a Utah State football game. It's not exactly lacrosse country. You think about Utah, you think about Salt Lake and the Utes now starting their program as player steps out of bounds.
That Blake Leishow.
But good players are now being developed everywhere.
Well, this
Air Force is represented by 18 different states.
Like the academies really have to.
18 states.
They've got to find talent that matches up with the academic requirements and a certain type of lacrosse player who wants to go to the academies.
They got like 1 or 2 from everywhere in the country.
That's a different lifestyle. You have to want it.
They say 20. Our graphics department said 22. I counted 18.
I believe them more than I believe you. No offense.
I went through it.
It's the whole math thing. I know it's algebra. Clock coming down to 3 minutes left to play in this first half. 3-goal advantage for Duke, trying to make it more.
That's a force.
Ball still loose. Blue Devils now have an advantage. Couldn't quite find the net, though. Owen Caputo looking for his second of the day.
He's a different player. He was last year as a freshman.
Left-handed shot in the corner. Blasted by Badur.
Number 5, Henry Badur, scores for Duke.
Off the reset, snappy ball movement. Badur paints a corner. This kid's got a left-handed hammer.
Wow, that is a shot. Perfect placement, too, by Badur.
Nice size kid. Watching him yesterday at practice when he plants his feet and rotates. Good torque and snap. You're just not going to make that save. Ottawa, Canada, he injured his freshman year. IMG Academy.
6'4", 205.
Hammer time and room. Whew.
You were saying it when yesterday you were here at practice in the rain and the mud, and you looked at the size of the midfielders of this Duke team, the midfielders and the close defensemen, the poles for Air Force, and you said, this isn't the lacrosse I'm used to playing.
No, Air Force coming off the bus, man, with this defense. Devaney, 6'2", 215. Quentin Carlisle from Indianapolis, sophomore now, 6'2". Griffin Peen, 6'5". Everybody's in great shape. Everybody can run and handle.
Now facing a 4-goal deficit. So North Carolina earlier today take care of business right from the start against Colgate. Duke getting a little bit more of a challenge, as you might have expected here early on from this Air Force team.
Do Southern teams have a distinct geographical advantage in February? Do teams with indoor facilities have a distinct advantage?
Another turnover by this Duke team, though. That's the one thing that's really keeping Air Force in it, is the fact that Duke has not been able to take care of the ball as much as they would like. 6 turnovers here in this first half.
Yeah, that one didn't go over well on the sideline at Duke. And Coach Stanowski and I yesterday talked about it at practice quite a bit.
Failure to clear, though, by Air Force, and we go the other way. That's 6 turnovers for the Falcons.
I added it to our keys. It's embracing structure and discipline and understanding, especially early in the season. It's so important just to be in the right spots and deliver an accurate pass and keep it simple. Don't reinvent the wheel, especially early season. Nakai Montgomery's been a little quiet.
Now they switch a pole on Montgomery. He had the shorty on him. Now he'll have to go against the long stick defender.
Eyes up out of the dodge.
Quigley thought about it, and he tried to get it down low to Williams. Still with Williams. Inside the crease, that'll go the other way. Minute 2 left to go in this first half. Air Force with possession. Down 4, let's see if they can get something going here quickly. Brandolfo. Spins the cage, he scores! Let's see how the officials rule it. Now we get a flag late coming out, and the officials will talk it over.
He clearly landed in the goal mouth. How did he get there, though? Here's the freshman from Fairfield Prep during an Air Force sub.
Now, if he lands in that goal mouth, it's no goal, no matter what.
So this is going
whether he was pushed in or not, he definitely lands in the goal mouth. They're going to wave off the goal, and you're going to get a push against Duke.
Penalty has been called on Duke, number 24, Frank Marinello.
Frank Marinello is going to get called for the push, so it'll be a man-up situation for Air Force here in the final minute of the first half. Waved off the goal, but Air Force man up.
Left side, left side, left side.
Great job defensively. Here come the Blue Devils. Shot wide of the net.
33's Carpenter, the freshman. He's a player.
There's his brother CJ. He'll get an opportunity, just wide. He was in the crease, and he'll go back to Air Force. 8.5 left to go in this first half.
This film gets dissected and corrected.
Horn sounds to end what was a very entertaining first half of lacrosse. Duke jumped out early. Had the 4-0, 5-1 lead. But then Air Force coming back themselves to make a game of it. Gorgeous goal, gorgeous feed. Brandon Dodd, the freshman. Peen finishing it off for the Falcons. That got them right back in it. Blue Devils, though, Manown, tough angle shot. He has 2 in this first half. It's a 4-goal advantage. Duke on top 9-5 at the half at home. and more often than ever on the ACC network.
Look, tell your friends. The ACC network is like the nucleus of college lacrosse. You need it. You're going to want it. 50-plus games, men's and women's.
Every week.
Good ones, too, especially in the month of February.
Yeah. I'm going to be next week with Matt Ward. We got Virginia and Loyola. Klockner.
Great game.
Air Force has made a game of this one, down 4 at the half. They've come back at the faceoff dot. This one won cleanly by Stein, and Duke with possession.
Stein did a nice job in that draw. Look, you got to glance at your wings prior to getting in that the final ready position.
Now Manown. Looks for the cutter. Oh, it's drilled.
Scaglione, know your role.
Fast break here for Air Force. Dodd scores!
Dodd's my new favorite player. After spending time in Logan this year covering Utah State and Jordan Love, eating that Lanone on Halloween night. Big hit, turnover. Host comes up throwing an aggressive outlet. Here's the transition, and there's Dodd. I couldn't believe how big he was at practice. The year of prep school at Air Force transformed his body, got him up to speed in terms of playing against great competition. Bright future.
Goal and 3 assists. O'Rourke assisting on that goal, and it's back down to 3. Ginder back at the X for Duke. Wins it again. Official time. You got to look at a bent stick or a broken stick on that one, so the official's making sure that the equipment is all up to par for Air Force. Now we're back in action with Duke. Ledman down the alley. Got the shorty on him again. Slide initially coming, but has the mismatch. Ball deflected slightly. There's Carpenter giving chase. He'll keep it to the Blue Devils. Early moments of the second half. Air Force scoring a goal to bring the deficit back down to 3. Ledman. Over to Montgomery. Shot. Oh, right off the post. Off the crossbar with that bounce shot. Montgomery trying to put his name in the score sheet for the first time this season.
That's okay. That's okay for Nakai. It's a good take. You see the separation quickness that he has, a left to right split there, a right to left split, step back. Wet grass, and that ball skims off the crossbar. Nakai is sitting on a big junior season. His ability to pass and read slides, reading the defense and their double teams and their recoveries, I think is what separates his game.
Krause, a couple of goals in that first half for Air Force. That was August Johnson. Now the Falcons getting into their offense. Dodd. Behind Grandolfo. These two freshman attackmen so key for Air Force. 25 to shoot for the Falcons.
Duke in a man-to-man defense.
Double comes on Krause. Loses his footing, now spins away from it. Fake move, low Upgren with the stop. Lindsay can't quite get the loose ball, but now he does. 10 seconds for Duke to clear. Now 3 seconds. Giles Harris is just going to have to get rid of it, and he does nicely. Lowry on the field with Baddour. Here comes Caputo. Scored his first career goal in that first half. Caputo working on Kraus, gets free. And now it's going to be a turnover after a big hit by Air Force. That got their sideline going.
The move by Caputo was sudden.
He saw that he had Kraus on him, offensive midfielder, and thought he would go to work, and he did. Just couldn't quite finish it off. You thought you'd see this, didn't you, Q? Air Force a little bit more deliberately
Air
offensive?
Force wants to play slow. Their defense is going to be their calling card. They wanted a 6-on-6 type game here. Duke's defense now, as I said, a lot of new faces here. Communication, talk, executing the rules of your defense. Always difficult early in the year.
Deflection on that shot gives Air Force a new shot clock. Spinning around. There's Dodd again.
Big time player. Big time player. He's a moose. He's taken Brower to the rack. The Under Armour All-American defender loses his edge. The kid from Utah wins this battle. They come from everywhere. All 50 states now, folks. Brandon Dodd, coming out party.
2 and 3 for Dodd, and just like that, you know, Duke, Q, they feel like they've been in control of this whole game, but now it's just a 2-goal game here in the third quarter.
They had this tendency last year, quite honestly.
Another face-off win. Oh, Dodd could not quite handle the pass. Mitchell's been doing yeoman's work at that X.
You look at their entire season last year. We just go to the playoff portion. Had the Richmond game in hand. Final score was 12-11.
Right.
That game got a little dicey late. Quarterfinal game at Hofstra against Notre Dame. Played in spurts.
Grandolfo, he scores!
Game on now, three in a row to start the second half from Air Force. You think about the Virginia game, the game they lost, the game they should have won, the national semifinals. This Duke team was a sideline clear away from playing for a national title. And all of a sudden, Grandolfo beats his man one-on-one on an island. No help, turn and rake. Another youngster, Fairfield Prep, Grandolfo, the waterbug lefty.
Dodd and Grandolfo leading this Air Force team, these two freshmen, back into this game now trailing by just 1 goal.
Defense is awful, spread out, not supporting each other. Got a lot of youth there.
Danowski going with Stein at the face-off X. Stein and Mitchell. Bodies crashing against each other. An opportunity for Air Force, couldn't quite scoop the ground ball. Now here comes Duke.
First-time grounders. Gotta have them.
Carpenter was able to scoop that up. Now his brother with the ball in his cross. CJ Carpenter. Riley Walsh scored 2 goals early for Duke, back in at that midfield spot.
Walsh offers flexibility. Dodge from behind the wing or up top. Versatile.
Walsh trying to work on that shorty. And now stopped by Host. That's 6 saves for Host. Air Force looking to clear. There's Christian Marshall.
It's a nice stop by Host. Wow, no calls.
Lindsay doing a great job. Bodies flying all over the place in midfield. Now we finally get a flag. It's going to go against Air Force. Carpenter doing a great job not to lose possession. Montgomery allows the pole to clear to the defensive side of the field. Carpenter down low, scores! What a look from Carpenter, and Manown finished.
Duke goal scored by number 31, Joey Manown. That's a hat trick, folks.
Tell you, Billy Wilson's not happy with these calls.
Assisting on the
No
goal,
call
number
against Duke.
23,
Right there.
CJ
Potential hold and takedown. Ball kept alive. Watch Carpenter now. He's got super glue in his pocket. You can't get the ball from his stick. At the other end, Carpenter, aggressive feed. Manown posts up. Catch cradle. An emotional play. Billy Wilson wanted the call. Air Force's coach out onto the field. Duke's bench erupts. Parents heckling.
All kinds of stuff going on here at Koskinen. That's a big moment in this game. Air Force had all the momentum, got the lead down to 1 goal. They just had an opportunity after a clear before Lindsay was able to dump Marshall.
And it's a penalty on Marshall from Air Force.
Yeah, the slash call against Marshall. Now not only gave the opportunity to Duke to score, but now with a man up.
How do we miss the hook at the midline? That's you give up a goal, we go man down because you don't make
The official's still trying to clear it up.
Whose goal was it? He says it's not their
Duke
goal.
so far today just 0 for 1 on the man up situation. They'll get another opportunity here.
Yeah, man up face-off now for Stein. He's got Montgomery to his left, who's being covered. And he has got Carpenter, 33 in white, to his right, who is uncovered. This being an extra man face-off.
Again, Marshall in the box. 1 minute for slash. They'll give him a 2-minute actually here, as we're sorting out the penalties on our end too. Duke's won 6 of the last 7 face-offs, so as a unit now, they've regained control of the X, both Stein and Ginder. Stein wins this one.
Perfection by Stein.
So a 2-minute man up.
Not all face-offs are created equal, Chris. A man up face-off is a huge play.
Montgomery on the field with Williams, Carpenter. That door as well. There he is, number 5. That was Williams. Montgomery, he'll fire. Whoa, Post was there. Duke retains possession though, a new shot clock. Here's Williams, the freshman. Badur thought about it. Swim move, just nowhere to go. Badur over the top. Still 40 seconds in this man up for the Blue Devils. Probing, looking for the shot. Williams over to Carpenter. Deflection to Williams. Deflected high by Host.
Another reset, fresh 80 on the shot clock. It's where the defense starts getting tired. Your legs start burning, your lungs. You get cotton mouth.
Williams, again Host is there.
Kick save off his right foot.
And Air Force with an opportunity now to kill off the rest of this 2-minute penalty.
Gigantic stop now. They need to possess. Give your D a break. It's kind of a momentum stopper.
Kraus. As you said, Q, he'll slow things down, give the defense an opportunity to take a little bit of a breath here and work for a good shot offensively. As it is in the sport of hockey, oftentimes your best penalty killer is your goaltender. Isn't that the case? Host had 3 saves on that man-up situation for Duke. He has 9 for the game.
He had 19 last year against Yale. Above 50% for the year.
August. Upgren saw it all the way. Good save.
Yeah, it was. It may have been his best of the day.
Here come the Blue Devils. JT Giles Harris passes on the shot and tried to get it to Williams. Ill-advised?
It was the right pass and maybe had a little too much sauce on it. A little too much heat.
Good end-to-end action here in the third quarter. Good lacrosse game. 2-goal advantage for Duke. Dodd's been sensational, the freshman, out of Logan, Utah. Here's Peen. He's got a hat trick tonight. Peen's got Lindsay. Duke's best and most experienced short stick midi on him. Behind the cage now to Grandolfo. 30 seconds to shoot. August Johnson up top. Here's Kraus. Seems like Wilson, who played a lot of players cute early in this game, has settled in on a midfield that he likes. Kraus along with Peen. Duke defender loses his stick. Now what can Kraus do? August Johnson tried to feed it in low through traffic. Randolfo now. He tried to get it to Dodd. And it's a turnover.
Nice recovery from Duke. Talking to defensive coordinator Caputo Ronnie yesterday, he was talking about how ball side, everyone nowadays seems like you're playing man, but the off-ball concepts are zone-ish. And when that play broke down there and the stick was flying through the air, they did a good job on the weak side of the formation, just kind of cluttering up the middle.
Clock under 4 minutes to play here in this third quarter. Duke led by 4 at the half. They lead by 2 now. Montgomery. That's Ledman. He'll take a shot. Host sees it all the way. Bobbles it at first. Get it in and out of the crease by Host, so it'll go back to Duke.
I'd have to look at that one again. The defender had the ball and he dropped it for the goaltender.
Manown has a step. Just stays with Duke. Kai Montgomery was fortunate to be able to get back and back that one up, keep possession of the Blue Devils. Redden with the unforced error. That'll go out of bounds to Air Force.
The guy who's been quiet for Air Force today is Trey Lervick, 20 in blue.
Here he comes out of the box with a full head of steam.
Best offensive player from a year ago, 36 goals, 17 assists, a lefty, senior from Minnesota.
And as Coach Wilson was telling us, the emergence of these 2 freshmen, Dodd and Grandolfo, has afforded him the ability now to have Lervick run out of the box and play midfield, because he has attackmen now that can initiate from behind the cage. Gives him some more flexibility offensively. Shot, Dodd backs it up. It's a team that only scored less than 12 goals a game last year, so great defense, but no offense. They get some offense here. Dodd heads up again with another assist.
Great. Immediate restart off the end line. Dodd has now 4 assists, 2 goals. Eyes up. Tic-tac-toe. 1-goal game.
in this third quarter. Duke up a goal. Big moments here in this third quarter. First, the penalty against Air Force.
Momentum changing plays, the great ground ball work by C.J. Carpenter. And then a Duke goal. Carpenter assists Manown 10-8. You think that Duke is going to pull away again.
Had a 2-minute advantage on that slashing call against Marshall for Air Force, but goaltender Host was up to the task.
He's played his best ball here in the third quarter. The junior from Colorado. And all of a sudden, Air Force's offense has come alive in the second half. Down 4 at the break. It's been the Brandon Dodge show. 6 points and now a 1-goal margin. This is an Air Force team that has beaten Duke twice in the last decade.
Yeah, you wondered with Joe Robertson out with the knee injury, who would pick up the slack scoring-wise for Duke. There you see 6 different players have scored a goal in this game today. So Manown, you knew what you were going to get from him, but others have stepped up. You didn't know what you were going to get from Brandon Dodd because he's a freshman. He's shown you, though, why Coach Wilson thought so highly of him to put him in that #1 attack line along with Randolfo. 1-goal game. The face-off, Duke started the game owning the face-off X. Then you had a little bit of a comeback by Air Force. Since then, though, it's all been Blue Devils. And it's been a big difference in this game.
I think it's 15 of 21 in that department.
And 8 of the last 9, Q, to the Blue Devils. Minute and a half left to go in this third quarter. 53 seconds on the shot clock for the Blue Devils.
Who on Duke's offense, though, is winning their matchup with the ball? Running by their man and drawing a double team.
Here's Carpenter with the shorty on him. Goal line extended. Now up top. Gets it to Lowry.
It's good passing offense. Ultimately, someone's got to beat their man and be able to score a goal.
Will it be Badur? Now goes to the left, and it is Badur.
Boom. Carpenter from the wing. Nothing doing. Up top. Through Lowry and then to Badur. We talked about his size. 6'4", 210 pounds. IMG in Florida. Ottawa. Lefty jump shot. It's in his game. This is a kid who was hurt in 2018. You go back to 17, highly recruited. I mean, one of the top 25 players in the country.
Matt Danowski imploring his offense. That advantage now back up to 2. 1:05 left in this third quarter. Ginder again at the X alongside of Brian Mitchell. 1 by Duke. Ginder in trouble. Runs out of it looking for help. He's got Lindsay if he wants him, and he does.
That is a sensational play. It doesn't look like much. But you're being held up and attacked.
Yeah, mercilessly.
And you got to find a way out.
Brian Smith, former face-off specialist for this Duke team, now expanding his role as a two-way midfielder. Haven't seen much of J.P. Basile, but back on the field now for this Duke team. 15 seconds left in this third quarter. Basile coming upfield. Walsh over to Carpenter. Clock winding down, but now get an opportunity. Just sails it wide. 1.5 left in this third quarter. Ooh, wow, 1.5 seconds left. Still a chance for Duke.
After 3 quarters, after 9.
2-goal game as we head to the fourth. Cam Badur, the Canadian, fakes with the right. Just gets a tiny little sliver of room with his left, and he buries his second goal of the game. The lead is 2 for the Blue Devils. Tune in all season long for exclusive ACC Network coverage of men's and women's lacrosse. The ACC Network is your home for college lacrosse. Q, having this network this year made a big difference for us during football season. It's making a big difference for us during basketball season. But I think for lacrosse, it's going to make a huge difference because all these quality matchups, we're able to bring you all of them.
ACC is stacked. Duke, the team of the decade with their 3 national titles, but maybe they're the 5th best team in the league this year. I mean, that's how loaded the league is this year.
Syracuse
Improved
is better.
Syracuse, Notre Dame.
North Carolina with Chris Gray is better.
Virginia, defending champs. I mean, this thing's wide open and never stronger, the ACC.
It's going to be fun to watch it develop. You can watch it all develop on the ACC network. And right now we're on the ACC network watching a potential upset develop heading into the 4th quarter. Air Force fighting and scratching and clawing to be down just 2 goals. We'll get a violation on the face-off, and it'll go toward Air Force. So an opportunity to dig even further into that deficit.
Got to deal with pressure right here.
They do. An opportunity for Dodd. He'll finish it.
Oh, that may be the play of the game. That may be the play of the game. Duke loses the face-off. So what? You try to sub out on the restart, they turn up the heat. And here it comes. Watch how 34 in blue, Quentin Carlisle, the sophomore out of Indiana, deals with Scaglione, Lurch, 6'6". He puts the ball on the carpet but stays with it, and he finds Dodd. What is that, 7 points now?
I need a calculator to figure out how much Dodd has done today. 3 goals, 4 assists. The freshman from Logan, Utah, after a year at the Air Force Academy Prep School, exploding onto the scene here today for this Falcon team. Now down 1 goal.
Dodd from Carlisle.
Ball straight up in the air. Stein can't find it. Hits the pylon on the sideline. Where will it go? It'll go to Air Force. Now Coach Danowski says, wait a second. And the officials want to discuss things in midfield. Our crew, Jim Blankner, Sonny Ziegler, Adam Olmstead, they've done a really good job today.
Yeah, they were very helpful with us, too, pregame, talking about the new goal mouth.
And he'll stay with Air Force after a brief discussion.
No, Donnie, just come.
Ultimately, I would like to see video review for calls involving a goal or no goal in the NCAA tournament where all games are televised.
Here's Lervik with Lindsay on him.
By a third party upstairs.
That is an unforced error there.
One of few for an Air Force offense that has, by the numbers, has been extremely efficient. Much more efficient than Duke on a per possession basis.
Both teams double-figure turnovers, though. That's 11 for Air Force. And when you're trying to spring the upset on the road, Q, you just can't afford to give opportunities to the home team here, Duke. Robertson waits for the substitution pattern, bringing Akai Montgomery on the field alongside Kevin Quigley and Garrett Ledman.
Quigley's got a burst.
Here he goes. Got free with the left. Bounces it. Wide of the cage, it stays with Duke.
Yeah, he's his best as a north-south dodger. A speedy separator.
Ledman, size advantage on that shorty. Behind the cage to Manown. That's Williams, rather. Oh, boy, Carpenter, point blank. Host is unbelievable.
Second half has been all Host.
Air Force opts to not go quickly to the cage. They'll wait for reinforcements.
Keep playing loose if you're Air Force. Now, tons of time in this game, 13 minutes. Now's not the time to mismanage, or overmanage every possession. Just keep playing loose, keep playing. There's a lot of possessions left.
Here's Matthew O'Rourke. To your point, Q, earlier about all the states these players are from, he's from Lambert High School in Georgia, suburb of Atlanta. Becoming a powerhouse in the state of Georgia.
Played for Dickie Wayman. former star at Navy.
Kraus on his horse, head up. Oh, again, tried to get it down low, and this time Peen can't handle what was really a bad pass. Another turnover.
Ripping the sticks now a little in the fourth quarter. You start looking up at the scoreboard. Again, settle down. Tons of time. Tons of time.
Giles Harris looking to clear, and he does. Here comes Badur. Full head with the left and buries it.
Badur suddenly now, I think he's got the hat trick.
He does.
This is a sensational clear. JT Giles Harris on the money. Catch, change hands, turn to Badur. Sniff out the break. This is kind of like a 5-on-4, but stop the ball is your first defensive rule. Stop the ball. And Badur slings it left-handed. Team goal, though, starts with a nice clear. JT Giles Harris.
Braden Host has been great in net for Air Force. Nothing he can do about that one.
Well, stop the ball. You know, you communicate defensively there as to landmarks. How high up do we want to go before we greet that midfielder? 12 yards, perhaps 10, 11, 12, 13, depends on who it is.
Ginger's now won 11 of his 14 faceoffs in this game.
Air Force double pulling the wings, but I mean, he's getting control of that and getting out of there before the wings are even a factor.
Owen Caputo for Duke. Scored his first career goal in the first half. Slide comes. Outstanding defensive play by Air Force. Really nice play by Quentin Carlisle.
Trouble now. Trouble for Air Force.
Carlisle is able to get to Shad Bruce. He'll wait for offensive reinforcements. Jake Thornley. Air Force last win against a top 10 opponent 3 years ago against Duke. They have an opportunity here, Q, but you said it. They can't start gripping their sticks too tightly. Down 2 goals. Randolfo now up top. Here's Johnny Orlando. Dodd up top. Thornley can't handle it. Gives chase, now picks it back up. 13 to shoot for Air Force. Thornley gets free, and he scores!
From near disaster to celebration in about 5 seconds. Just a left-to-left speed dodge. Having his left wrist hammered on, runs through contact. Double team is late. Boom. Here we go. Let's go.
Hometown kid Thornley scoring a goal, and man, Air Force just refuses to go away.
Back up, back up.
Can't quite get that equalizer though. They've been 1 goal down, 2 goals down, 1 goal down.
9-8, 10-9, 11-10, 12-11.
10 minutes left to go in this game. Can they get the equalizer? Can they get over the hump, get a couple in a row? We'll get a hold against Air Force. On the face-off, here come the Blue Devils. Robertson will go behind cage to Joey Manal. Back up to C.J. Carpenter.
Just amazed. Duke's continued to play a ton of offensive personnel.
Yeah, Basile is one of them here, taking a shot. He'll be in the crease. Turnover to the Falcons.
one and done. Not that it was a bad shot, but it's an all or nothing proposition.
Right.
So as you're approaching the goal there, you just got to change your vectors, Victor. You got to peel off.
No opportunity to change his direction. Now a big hit in the box. JT Giles Harris battling for the ball. It'll end up in Lindsey's cross.
Good luck.
A really good play to keep that one alive by Carpenter. Williams, again the save. Host is playing out of his mind, 13 saves.
He really is. Second half's been all his. Tell you, the kid looks the part, he fills up the goal. Good numbers from last year, very experienced. Loved their backup yesterday in practice as well. Jason Rose, 6'3", 200-pound freshman out of Garnet Valley in PA.
Yeah, think about how good Rose must be. Host is a team captain, returning starter. He's playing like this, and Coach Wilson said Rose pushed him all fall and winter long, so Air Force is in good shape in net. Here's Montgomery. Using the pick, now with a shorty on a spin move shot. Host is there. Air Force looks to clear quickly.
Silky smooth spin by Nakai.
Dodd with a good look.
Oh! Listen to your bench.
Daniel Pagano just held on to it way too long for Air Force. Look at Montgomery here with the spin. Get over.
Loses his man in the wash, everything but the finish. Could have been a foul, man. He got lit up after that shot.
Timeout Falcons, down a goal, fourth quarter. This one looks like it's going under the wire.
Duke softball.
Friday night, tune in for more men's lacrosse on the ACC Network. Revenge game. Remember Syracuse lost to Colgate last year? Well, today Colgate got shellacked at North Carolina. Friday night at 4 o'clock to go back out on the road, this time in the Carrier Dome to take on Syracuse. Gluttons for punishment.
Make defense great again. Rick Beardsley on the call.
Yeah, Beards is going to be on the call.
Dome Dogs sold separately.
Yep. Looking forward to that. Jay Alter and Rick Beardsley, Friday from the Carrier Dome. You talked about how efficient Air Force has been, more so than Duke, and how great Braden Host has been in net for Air Force.
10 saves in the second half, 3 goals against. Pressure now coming off this dead ball here. JT Giles Harris extended, and as everyone else is shutting off.
Still 60 seconds to shoot for Air Force.
See if he's got a back check.
Grandolfo. Oh, Turner Upman was great on that.
Lervik had him. Good handle. Good handle by JT.
You saw that coming. The hit stays with Duke, though. Lindsey. Carpenter. Off the pipe.
Ooh, look out.
Yeah, boy. Air Force. Goal! Slacheka, the long pole. Gets knocked on his derriere in celebration.
That was awesome lacrosse. JT Giles Harris slow to get to his feet. He looks like he's a little woozy. It was a vicious collision. This is transition. I mean, this is what makes this game so cool, so fun. Missed pass, but goes through, stays Air Force. There's the collision at the end. And the reacts, the emotional goal. Finally, Air Force ties it up. The Falcons have finally, after 4 attempts, knotted this thing up at a dozen apiece.
12-12, 7:23 left to go in this contest. This was a 4-goal advantage for Duke at the half. They sprinted out to a 4-0 lead. They were up 5-1. Air Force just hung around, despite being dominated at the faceoff X too.
If you've enjoyed this game, now's the time to text your buddies. Game on here, 12-12 with 7.5 to go. Unpredictability of February lacrosse. Everybody's pretty good nowadays, folks. Teams 15 through 35, they're all the same. Air Force proving that today. SoCon last year. Conference of upsetters.
Yeah, the emergence of the SoCon. Ginder wins yet another face-off, but he throws it over Upland's cross, and it's a turnover. Now will Air Force look to move quickly. The freshman Dodd will put it in play.
Good time to go.
Oh, had a man two in front. Couldn't connect. And that's a turnover. Had a chance, had Chase Douglas right in front of the crease.
That's the hard part, these early season games, you know, being efficient and clean and making the right decisions in those gray area moments.
First time we've been even since 0-0.
Bedore's been good for Duke today, especially in the second half. Got left it.
Here he is now down the alley with his right hand. 23's been on him all game long. Big size advantage. Now he gets free a little bit. Slide threatened to come. Stayed back. Lowry, a veteran. Owen Caputo now, he's looking to dodge. Errant pass, turnover.
What Duke lacks on offense, and they have now for a couple of years, is that alpha go-to attackman who can get the ball, take it behind the goal, and put everybody at ease and calm everybody down. Jordan Wolf doesn't play here anymore. Matt Danowski doesn't play here anymore. Ned Crotty. This is a midfield-based group.
Under 6. Knotted up at 12. Here's Matthew Schwartz. Great move to get free. Tried to hook up with Douglas again in front. 2 possessions in a row. 55's been camped out. Just haven't been able to connect. Now we go the other way. Can Duke regain the momentum?
Tension building here. You just feel it with these fans.
Manown goal line extended, looking upfield. Brian Smith coming on for the Blue Devils.
Riley Walsh time. Basile likes the single invert, but Riley Walsh has got some big goals in his resume during his career.
There he is right now, working on Shad Bruce. Comes upfield, jump shot. Manown closest to it, it'll stay with Duke.
No reset.
To your point, 33 now to shoot for the Blue Devils. Manown gets free. Stopped in front. Players crashing in all around the crease.
Host made the stop. And he was interfered with. Air Force ball. How good has Host been in the second half?
MVP of this team, I think, don't you, as far as this game goes? He had that two-minute man down situation. He made 3 stops.
Liked what I saw on tape last year, above 50% for the year. Goals against average sub-8, which is insane now in the shot clock era. Played big against Yale last year, 19 saves, so this is not new for Braden Host.
Krause. That's Peen. Already has the hat trick tonight. He'll get free and score! His 4th! And the Air Force Falcons take their first lead of the game.
Quincy Peen has played with uncommon poise. He's just soothing. You watch him, he's so smooth. Cruising to the middle of the field. Double, a tad second late. 3/4 arm release to the low near corner against the lefty goalie. We're gonna do this. The Falcons could do this.
His 4th of the day. That's a career high. He also knew exactly where our high end zone camera was for the celebration. Found the red light.
Play to win if you're Air Force here. Don't play not to lose this game now with the lead. Play to win. Stay aggressive. Stay loose.
Mitchell battling with Ginder. He just has nothing for him. Ginder to Smith. Now to Manown.
Big possession now for Duke. What are you made of, Nakai Montgomery?
Quigley up top along with Ledman.
Quigley's going to draw the double. Question is, what happens next?
Here comes Quigley down the alley. Williams, freshman, loses it.
Man, he's good. I tell you, 34 in blue has had a game.
Just a
Quentin
sophomore.
Carlisle, Indianapolis.
Growth of the game.
Second team All-American freshman last year in terms of some folks at College Cross, Chris Yashemsky, who rated all the freshman performances, and now I see why. Nice job, Chris. Back in the old days now, Air Force would put this game in the cooler, try to run themselves to victory here, but with the shot clock, it's still multiple possessions for Duke.
Good for the game. Air Force 32 seconds to shoot. They can take it all the way down to 2 minutes left, but they're going to have to generate some offense.
Field balance is important here off a turnover.
It's Krause in the corner, waiting for instructions from his bench as to when to go. Now he has the green light. Spin back.
Oh, that's big because it's a reset. It hit the goalie's foot. Or Upgren said no, it hit the goal.
Now the official's going to talk about it.
At first, I thought it hit Upgren in the foot. It
I
hit
did too.
the back of the net, the base of the pipe. This should not be a reset, excuse me. That's not considered the pipe.
Let's take another look at it as the officials continue to work it out.
On their time right there. Yeah, just
So if the ball hits the goalie or the pipe, it is a reset. This ball hits the back of the goal, the base. Right there, you see it hit off the side.
You're right.
It's a nice job by Upgren to point that out to the officials. I thought initially it ricocheted off the goaltender's foot.
The officials are now waiting for them to set the shot clock.
Should be really low, right?
Yeah, it's right inside of 10 seconds. That's what the officials are looking at right now. They want to make sure they get the right amount of time on that shot clock. 6 seconds.
Good
They
job.
put 6 seconds on the shot clock. That'll be how much Duke, or Air Force rather, has to shoot.
Air Force will start to sub out their defensive personnel here.
They do. Krause comes to the side. Peen will just have to let it go. And there'll be a shot clock violation.
Conservative approach by Billy Wilson and this Air Force team, up a goal with 2:30.
Now Duke, they've gone so cold offensively. 10 minutes without a goal. They've missed their last 5 shots, Q. We'll get a timeout here. Coach Danowski will talk about it. Minute 45 left, down a goal. What are you thinking here, Q? It's been really, to your point earlier, I think, do you have one player that you can look to and say, take your man, beat your man? It's just been a collective, effort by this Duke team, which is good in one way, but now when you get down to it with a minute 45 left to go, you got to have a go-to guy, don't you?
Somebody to beat their man and draw a double team. Cam Bador has been that guy in the second half. I thought Ledman played really well in the first half, but I put out a group of Bador, Ledman, and Nakai Montgomery.
Duke got off to the quick start here early.
Yeah, they led 5-0 at one point. Joey Manown, Carpenter, Riley Walsh,
Couple for Walsh.
They won tons of face-offs early, and it was just make it, take it, buy one, get one free. They led 6-3, and then they led 9-5 at half, and were basically in control. But man, Braden Host, more than a dozen saves in the second half.
Phenomenal, keeping the Kai Montgomery off the score sheet. And then look at Dodd.
Oh, freshman debut from Logan, Utah, Brandon Dodd. I got him for what, 7 points?
Grandolfo, the other freshman, scoring. Thornley.
Gutsy goal. Runs through the stick check. Transition goal, ties it up at 12.
And then Doc from Pittsburgh.
Peen's got 4, including the 13th. Again, he gets to the middle of the field before the double gets there. It's been a weakness of this Duke defense. Their double teams have been a tad late. As you look at the goalie now, staring up at the clock. It's where you want to stay loose, stay with your fundamentals, talk on defense.
Bador in the game alongside Lowry and Montgomery at that midfield. There's Lowry. Ball deflected.
Now this clear is just gigantic with an 80-second shot clock. You got 20 to clear. 10-man ride.
Gilman pass.
Empty net that counts as a shot.
It does.
Do you call timeout if you're Air Force here to get things set up? If you like your matchups, no. And they get organized quickly off the bench.
65 to shoot, 75 seconds left in the game.
Empty net.
And now Coach Wilson sees that his man was in a little bit of trouble. Schwartz on the end line, so he calls a timeout. With 59 to shoot, Q, 69 seconds left in the game.
Double teams coming from Duke, probably right away with this ball placement behind the net. Question for Air Force is, do you try to beat the double with the ball carrier? You set up an off-ball pick somewhere and try to free up a man?
Look at Peen with the go-ahead goal moments ago.
Peen family playing a big part of Air Force lacrosse right now. You got 3 brothers, right? Gavin, Griffin on D, Gavin playing midfield.
Had some success, as you see, in 16 and 17. All 3 of these games on this field. Imagine the Peen family at Thanksgiving. Those 3 boys.
Isn't it food bills?
6'4", 205, 6'5", 220, 6'4", 200. All the same age.
Doing some damage. Like Cotter last night at Dames, chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles here in Durham.
Great spot, folks. If you're coming to Duke for a lacrosse game, I recommend it downtown. Downtown's suddenly the place to be here in Durham.
Yeah, it's really enjoyed a revitalization.
Air Force spreads the field. Lervik will handle the double team. The goal is empty as Upgren is covering Dodd.
10-second difference between game clock and shot clock. Double team in the corner. Desperation heave.
Wow, because that comes with a reset of the shot clock. It's a hold on Duke.
And now real desperation moments for the Blue Devils.
Empty net.
Upgren out to challenge Dodd. He's got a shot if he wants it. He takes it and scores.
That's honestly not the worst thing in the world for Duke. Yeah, I know it's a 2-goal margin, but they have the opportunity to win 2 faceoffs and tie this game up.
And they've been dominating the faceoff X. Here's the penalty right
Pinch
here.
double team was good. It's the extracurriculars after that ball was dislodged. Lervik got prodded, poked, lifted off the ground and dumped, and then Dodd just runs around Upgren. Sometimes I wonder, do you keep your starting goalie in that situation? Why not put another player with the goalie stick out there?
Or does Dodd
who runs better.
Or does Dodd really take that shot? Duke has won 20 of 28 faceoffs.
Exactly. That goal seems like the short-term thing to do, but Duke's going to get another 2 possessions potentially.
Montgomery's got to fly.
Time is more important than the score.
40 seconds. Montgomery with a shot.
Oh, wow.
Host has been sensational all game long, and he was again.
Now you're in full-time stall mode if you're Air Force. You're running to victory.
Upgren trying to get physical out of his cage. Upgren picks it up, a clock, an issue for Duke. Nice play beautiful play by Carpenter and a finish. Not finished yet. That was Wilson. I believe that's his first career goal.
Dyson Williams, yeah, with a little
Williams, I'm sorry.
With the fold-over shot. The helter-skelter play here, and Air Force just misses an easy one. Ball ricochets through. Carpenter's had a nice game. Dyson Williams scores his first collegiate goal. Number 3 national recruit coming out of the Hill Academy, and it's a 1-goal game now. Timeout Duke with 7 seconds to go.
7 seconds to go. Ginder has owned the face-off X, but with just 7 seconds, not a whole lot of time for Duke to win the face-off and get something going on the offensive end.
That's your first question as a coaching staff, Chris. Do you say that you can win it back and still score a goal in 7 seconds, or are you committing to going forward with this ball, a pinch and pop move out the front?
You have to do that with 7 seconds.
Possession's key either way. If he goes back, I mean, there's no time to waste. Let's say he goes forward. Now you're Air Force, you're crashing the wings with a defensive posture. You're taking away the fast break. Okay, worst case scenario also, if you're Air Force and the ball is thrown to the slot or crease area, you are tackling your man, okay? You'll take a penalty with 1 second to go.
Sure.
You have to deny your man the ball at any means possible within decent sportsmanship. Double polling the wings as Air Force. They put their best player, Quentin Carlisle, 34 in the near wing. Those players will crash aggressively. Duke's attack will be set up in a break formation.
You've got Ginder and Mitchell at the X. Montgomery and Smith on the wings for the Blue Devils. 7 seconds to go. Duke down a goal. Air Force wins the faceoff, and they'll win the game. What a performance by the Air Force Falcons on the road. Down 5 early, and Quincy Peen finished off the scoring, gave them their first lead of the game, and they held on for the win.
Welcome to 2020. Anything goes on the ACC network. Our first upset of the year. For the 3rd time in the decade, Air Force has taken down Duke. The goaltending, unbelievable. Braden Host, 17 stops.
And for the 4th season in a row, Q, the Southern Conference team has beaten this Duke team. High Point last year, previous 2 years, Air Force, and the Falcons come to Koskinen and do it once again. That's going to do it for us here in Durham. Our final score, Air Force 14, Duke 13. Coming up next on the ACC Network, ACC Traditions. We'll see you next time, folks.